Hi, this is Daria. This is not Daria's cat. Just me. Well, he doesn't. Okay, I don't want to piss off the cat. Anyway, so I wanted to do a kind of lazy video where I just show off my boxed NES RPG collection, which I have a lot more of these than you think I would, so let's just get started. First up is this iconic bad boy. We have the original Dragon Warrior with that badass picture of a hero fighting the Dragon Lord. And then, if you notice on the back, I've got the Explorer's Handbook, which serves as the manual for this edition. See, look, this copy is a little bowed out in the protective sleeve case. Protective thingy. It's force field. Anyway, and that's because I have all of the extras that go with it. The stuff you could order from Nintendo Power, you know, that came with the giveaway when they were trying to unload copies of this back in the day. I've got the map, the laminated monster card. There's like a little yellow tip piece of paper, like that's in here too. Like literally this is a complete copy, as complete as you can possibly get it. Dragon Warrior 2. Princess of Moonbrook. There she is. Looking all hot in her little fantasy, I don't know, loincloth cleavage dress. And then I like if they include the Japanese illustrations on the back. Nice little touch. This is a good game. I enjoyed it. It's a little hard. Game Boy Color is the way to go if you want to play those, probably today. And then Dragon Warrior 3, of course. The most popular entry in the series, I think, in Japan. And the back isn't really that special. And they did like this switch on the covers where they quit showing off the characters and they're just gonna like show off adventuring gear, which is some really cool art. I don't know that it necessarily hypes you up for the adventure. It's like, look at all the treasure you can get. I don't know, I think I'd rather see like some enemies and some heroes, but they're still really nice boxes. And then Dragon Warrior 4, of course, continues that tradition. This one's just showing you the sword. Look at that awesome sword. You could be wielding this sword right now if you'd only play this game. This is my favorite of the NES Dragon Warriors. The map, more swords. I'm trying to get around the glare. I'm having some glare issues. But my games are protected, so you're gonna have to deal with glare. And some game screens. It's an NES RPG. After a while, they all kind of look alike. Okay. And then we're just gonna start grabbing random games out, because I have a stack. A stack. There's a stack back here. Okay, so we got Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which you wouldn't think a licensed, wouldn't think a licensed game would necessarily fall into the RPG category, but it does. I haven't really played it though, so I don't know, I can't say much about it except for, there's a silhouette of Kevin Costner on the front. Alright. This one is less of an RPG and more of a dungeon puzzler. Solstice, with some amazing Tim Follin music. Like, you don't even have to play this game. Just boot it up and listen to the synthetic rock soundtrack, and it's amazing. While you glare lustfully at this unsheathed, hot wizard. I don't know why they decided to draw him this way with these, like, ridiculously sculpted abs and pecs and I don't know. Back's just a scroll describing the game and some screenshots. Pretty game. It's isometric. You go around trying to solve puzzles in the rooms and get to the end. Speaking of solving puzzles, here's Legacy of the Wizard, an insidiously evil game that I have never ever finished. Can't escape the glare. I don't even know what that's glare of. It's just there. I should quit trying to get so close. It's my window. There we go. That's pretty good. So this is like, in this one you play like a whole family and they're going into this dungeon. You can switch between the different characters, including the dog who turns into a dragon. Whoops. Sorry, kitty. Oh. Hydlide. I hate this game, but the box is so pretty. So we'll just admire the box. I mean, how can this game be bad? Look at that artwork. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Like, I would hang this up in my house. Like, this puts all the Dragon Warrior boxes to shame. All of them. And they even did a nice job of, like, really big screenshots on the back. Like, these are huge. They could take up a ton of real estate, and they don't have very much to show off because the game's fugly. Next we have Wizardry. Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. I don't know. I'm not really a big Wizardry person, but there's some nice... Look at that. They got some nice character art on the back. Showing off some monsters and some skeletons. And some screenshots of the game, but mostly that art's pretty cool. Then we got Wizardry, Knight of Diamonds. I think there are 3 of these, but apparently I only have 2 in the pile, so I don't know. And I'm really, like, kind of alarmed that I don't know what's up with that, because I used to know what was up with that. So that knowledge is just, like, completely stopped from my brain. So was the 3rd one only in Japan? I don't think I'm missing a game. Like, I would know. It would be on my wish list. It would be like, holy shit, I need this one game. Or maybe the 3rd one's in the pile and I just missed it. We'll find out. Alright, let's... next up is Little Ninja Brothers. Some of you may remember I did a video review of this, God, years ago. Which I did the review because I had just bought this boxed copy. I got a really good price on it. It's not in the best condition. It looks like super nice in the, which is another thing I really like about these protective cases. They hide a wealth of evils. Like, they just give a nice sheen to your game, and sometimes just there's an illusion of a cosmetic improvement to the appearance. But I wonder if you can, if I show it this way, the cover kind of bows upward, like it does this a little bit. But honestly, it's not that noticeable. And I think there's some scrunching on the side, like there's a crease on the side of the box. But all in all, for what this game goes for in pristine condition, I will take this very nice looking copy any day and save a little money. Okay, speaking of games that I've done reviews on, an RPG collection would not be complete without Crystalis. And I love... Let's see if I can get up there without the glare. I love the alien creatures in this game. Like, you don't just fight... Well, I mean, there's a werewolf, but you don't just fight, like, orcs and I mean, I sometimes fight. There's not, like, orcs and rats and spiders and... You don't get generic enemies in this game. You get, like, these weird freaking... You feel like you're on another planet. Like that eyeball spider and that kind of golem-y thing. There's also a lot of, like, anthropomorphic characters. There's, like, giant tiger men. Were tigers. Some screenshots in the back. a spoilery screenshot of like the final boss, which is surprising. Some shops. A really amazing logo. Oh, this is like one of the best games on the system. If you haven't seen the review for this, you really need to watch that. Speaking of the best games on the system, this is my pride and joy. My ghost lion. Maria's my girl. And her white lion. Her spirit lion. It kills me. I have not done a review of this, but I really would like to. However, currently I can't do the review of this game that I would want to do, because this is, believe it or not, is a licensed game. In Japan, there was a Ghost Lion movie starring an American actress, who had a reoccurring role on Full House of all things. And they made this, like, adventure movie in Japan about this, like, girl who goes to Africa and can summon, like, spirits to fight alongside her, and they turned it into an RPG. And a lot of people call this, like, a girl's RPG or a beginner's RPG, and it looks... Visually, it does look a lot like Dragon Warrior, but it's very unique. Like, it has a... It does not play at all like you'd expect it to, and I don't know, I love the originality of this. Like, this is just... I love this game. It's good. And speaking of good, we're moving right on with Destiny of an Emperor, which is like the closest thing the NES has to like a Suikoden type RPG with all of 108 warriors come to join you in battle. I don't know if you can see the screenshot very well, but there's like a ton. You got like your generals and they all have troops and you're fighting the enemies, and it's been years since I played this, but it was pretty good. It's got that kind of Daimyo character on the front. I guess that's the Emperor. I think he looks really just kind of in a bad mood. He is not having a good day. He doesn't like the glare. He's very upset that we've glared up his face. Alright, moving on with, well, we did one Capcom RPG. Let's do the next one, is Gargoyle's Quest 2. Yes, I do have a box copy of this. Most of these other games all have their manuals. Like, these games are all complete. This one does not. This is just a cart. And let me get my thumb out of the way. This is just a cart and a box. But you know what? When the manual costs like $50, last time I checked, $50 on its own, I'll put up with just a cart and a box. It looks good on the shelf, and I'll somehow survive without having this be technically complete. It's still a nice copy. Like, I'm happy with this. And I love that artwork of Firebrand. There he is. Brandon the Fires. That's one thing I love is, I don't know, I am a sucker for the artwork on these old boxes. This is kind of a weird one. Magician. You play a magician. Look at the detail on the, like, lightning there. It goes down to the sword. I don't know. This is such a simple cover. It reminds me again of the, like, Dragon Warrior ones where it's just like, here's some treasure and equipment. But it works. It gets, it communicates that fantasy vibe. Like, you're in for a good time here. And I guess the point of Magician is you get all these different spells to use. I don't know, I really haven't played it, and it's funny, the only thing I really know about this game is back in the day, there was, like, one of those, like, Christian, like, oh, video games are scary, D&D is the pathway to the devil videos, and on the news report, they were using footage of Magician. Like, this was the scary satanic game. Which is, I don't know, it's just hilarious. Okay, next we got... Here we go. Will Harvey presents The Immortal. Now this has been ported to a bunch of different systems, and I also have the Genesis version. But for posterity, here's the NES release. And I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be the Immortal, but I can't help but kind of picture that as being Will Harvey. Just because his name's at the top of the box. So in my head, this guy's name's Will Harvey. With his snake staff. Oh, this is just some good gothic art. Love it. It's another one. This is kind of like a Diablo type. Like you're spelunking a dungeon. Like I believe it's a single dungeon game, and there's like a lot of traps and stuff you need to avoid. And I would put this in the same realm as Solstice or even Gauntlet. Okay, now for like just oddball games, we have Pinball Quest, which has a full RPG mode. And I love like the skull and the pinball, like, I'm scary. Oh, that box is kind of boring. Oh, one thing I do hate about this is one of those that, it's a Jalico game. So, I can't show it, but on the sticker, like the top of the card, it doesn't say Pinball Quest, it just says Jalico. Which, for me, now I've got the box, but before I was able to box my copy, it didn't matter too much because it was really the only Jalico game I owned. But it's kind of annoying if you have more than one in your collection and they all look alike. Alright, next I got Guardian Legend, which I love that. I mean, this is such an awful box. Like, it's terrible. Like, just the eyeballs. And I believe the cover is actually like a ripoff of a movie poster, and I think it's Enemy Mine. I could be wrong about which poster it is, but yeah, it's one of those traced art pieces of art, and they're just like, here, that communicates Guardian Legend. And the worst part about this is the Japanese box was so pretty. It was almost like a Geiger type mechanoid female character, and it was like really intricate and beautiful, and they replaced it with ugly eyeball face. Next we have Swords and Serpents, which is a whole team of these kind of muscly dudes ready to embark into the mouth of the snake and spelunk until their pectorals can take no more. This is a really weird first-person dungeon crawler, because it's all actually the artwork on there. You can see some of the character illustrations. The battles are all like action turn-based. It is weird. But this was one I had as a kid, and I've played a lot of it. And it's kind of good. Like, for a dungeon crawler, it's just different enough to be... I love that, like, that wraith there. It's just different enough to be good. Like, I always get bored with Wizardry, but this is more, like, action-y, and I've always had a lot of fun with it. And now I'm, like, out of focus. Come on. Come back and focus. Thank you. So, I recommend that one. And it's really cheap, so no excuse not to play it. Okay, next up we have Foxanadu with the most boring cover ever. It's just like this emblem of a tree and a shield. This tells you nothing. It's even like this bland peach color. Like, I couldn't think of a more inoffensive, boring box. Like, it does not surprise me at all that this was not any great hit on the system. Which is a shame, because, I mean, it's a good game. But it suffers from atrocious box art. Blech. Next, we got Battle of the Olympus. This one's kind of got... Look at all the glare. This will show here. I think it's like a Hydra on the front with like multiple heads. I think that's all the same snake. I don't think those are multiple snakes. But this is a blatant Zelda 2 clone. Like, when I say blatant, it's the sprites are like traced over each other. Like Link and what do you play in this game? Orpheus. Link and Orpheus. Like the animations are identical. And I don't understand how this company got away with that. This is not a first-party Nintendo game. But I guess Nintendo didn't care because they were licensing it to a Nintendo system. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that went down, but it did. It did. Okay, next up. Okay, this is kind of cheating. Not an RPG. It does have some first-person dungeons and a rock, paper, scissors battle system. But Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom is so beloved that I just could not put it in the pile to just show off those silly little claymation models, kind of like Earthbound. In fact, this game has a similar like wacky vibe as Earthbound. I also have a review on this that I did a long time ago that you should check out if you haven't seen it. This is basically a text adventure about sentient fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Cucumber has kidnapped Princess Tomato. And it's up to Percy the Persimmon and No, I am a cucumber. Sorry, the Power Mad Pumpkin has kidnapped the princess, and Sir Cucumber and Percy the Persimmon, who's the orange guy there, that's Percy. And then obviously the cucumber is the green guy, need to jump in and save the princess. I have no idea who that little lavender lettuce person is. I think that's like a handmaiden to the princess, but she doesn't play a major role in the game. She's just a cute figure. Okay, next up. Oh, I'm so sorry, kitty. Oh. I'm attacking you with the NES boxes. Cat's gonna like get pissed off at me. Next up, we have the Lone Ranger, which is a Konami kind of RPG. It has top-down villages where you talk to, NPCs and go off on quests, and then the quests are like side-scrolling levels, and this is just a weird hybrid of a game, and a licensed game at that. But if you're looking for something a little unusual, this is a good title to go to. Look, there's like gambling, and I think there's, like light gun stage? I don't know. I haven't gotten too far in this because I will admit the side-scrolling levels are brutally hard, and I suck. I suck at it. My god, my camera is like struggling. It's like, where should I focus? There you go, camera. Okay. Next up we have Dungeon Magic. This has a really nice piece of artwork on it. He's just kind of a hero overlooking a ravine. There's like the dungeon in the background. I really haven't played this one. The Taito game. I think it's a dungeon crawler? I don't know, I'm kind of embarrassed now. Dungeon crawlers really aren't my thing, so they're the ones I'm least likely to jump into and try for myself. Next up, I have Gauntlet 2, which, again, okay, a little cheaty. Not much of an RPG, but I do consider the Gauntlet series as the precursor to the Diablo-type games. And I have a lot of fun memories of this one. Like, this Gauntlet 2 was a game I had as a kid. I played it a lot. And to me, like, dungeon exploration was synonymous with, like, role-playing games. Like, I really didn't see a difference, so I still just kind of consider it part of the collection. I do have Gauntlet 1, but not boxed, so I didn't bring it over. And I have two versions of it. I have the, the officially licensed and the Tengen. But you don't need to see those. Boring. Okay. This might be the most expensive RPG that I have on the system. This is Faria. Really weird title from Game Arts, who would later go on to make, you know, the Lunar series and Grandia. So this was their... Let's see that knight getting blasted. Oh my god, the glare. I'm so happy my games are protected, but I hate the glare. That knight getting blasted by a dragon. So this game is notorious for having impossibly hard dungeons to navigate. Like, just mean dungeons. And back in the day, you could call a hotline that was suggested in the manual and order a way for a map that would show you all the dungeon layouts. And the map is, like, extremely rare. They used to go for, like, $300 just for this stupid piece of paper map. And a while ago, I ran into somebody who was selling it for... The price had dipped to, I think, $75. And, yeah, I bought it. So this has the mail-away map included. I don't know what it's worth now. Like, those might have plummeted in value for all I know. But it's still nice to have the complete copy. Next up, the unpronounceable Magica Scheherazade. Like, you can't read that. Nobody can read that. In fact, because nobody can read that, they printed the title. They printed the title right at the top. But I love this. Is another really strong piece of artwork. Like, just a gorgeous painting. This one's a weirdo. It's a mix of, like, Zelda and Dragon Warrior. Like, it has both Zelda overworld action battles and Dragon Warrior menu battles. Plus, you're going back in time, back and forth through time, to kind of solve puzzles. Like, you might have to plant a tree in the past and then warp to the future and see it grown. And so this game's got everything. Like, I love this. Is, again, one of my favorite games. Like, I love this game. Okay, next up, we have Final Fantasy, which is taking a cue from the Dragon Warrior brand of box design. You get a globe and some weapons. That's it. That's your adventure. Arm yourself. And then in the back I have the gigantic Explorer's Handbook. Again, like what the first Dragon Warrior had. Like, these two releases were very similar how they were published. Because I think both of them were published by Nintendo. So Nintendo was like, this is their... They were trying to push the RPG genre with these two amazing titles. Okay, next we have Arkista's Ring, which is kind of a weird RPG shooter thing. It's more of an adventure game, but I love that the illustration of Arkista there. It's a really cute little green-haired elf. It's funny, I bought this game because I was just like, this looks fun. And then not long after I bought it, I guess somebody did a video on it and the value like shot up. So this has gotten pretty expensive in recent years. But good game. And we got some Zeldas. I don't know. They're Zeldas. I'm not gonna really... Do you need me to explain what Zelda is or show you the shiny box? And they're both... Oh, and this one I have the reprint. This is the gray cartridge for Adventure of Link. I have the gold cartridge, but not boxed. So my nice copy is the re-release. That's okay. They're still cool. Oh, speaking of games I've done reviews of, everyone loves Willow and this janky-ass rendition of the poster. Like, this is some bad fan art quality illustrating. It's hilarious. It looks like poor Warwick Davis has been, like, stung by bees. And I don't know what's going on with Bab Morta. But this game is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really dated video, but I suggest, again, you check out my review on this. I apologize for the sound issues. I was not a pro at video production when I made this, but what can you do? Someday I might redo that video. Let's go with Bard's Tale. I'll be honest, when it comes to Bard's Tale, I prefer the Xbox, like, and a spin-off, I wouldn't call it remake, with Carrie Elwes as the voice of the Bard. This is another classic dungeon crawler. So again, not really my foray, but I have it. We're getting down to the end. I've got Ultima. This was my first RPG. The first one I ever played on NES. It was practically a launch title. And as such, I've rebought this game a few times trying to get like a nicer box, and I just can't do it. Like, the pictures will look nice on eBay, and then they'll arrive and you see like all that wear on the corners. Like, I can't avoid it. So I tried to cobble together the best looking version I could, and that's what I got. I like this game. A lot of people hate it because the monsters level up with you and it's really hard, but I don't know. I've got very fond memories of playing Ultima. Alright, next we got Quest of the Avatar, which kind of tried to... This is a really weird version of this game. On Master System, it's much truer to the PC copy, and I think has a lot more in common with Ultima Exodus. But this one kind of let me see if I can get up on those creatures, or those screenshots. This one kind of Final Fantasizes it a bit. Like, the sprites are a lot cuter, and it looks much more like like a Japanese RPG. So I don't know what's up with that. Obviously they were trying to market it for a Japanese audience. It's cool. It's a nice version. But if you want something a little more authentic, you want to go with the Master System port. Okay, then we got Warriors of Destiny, which this one is a little pricey. Like, this is one of the harder... I'll move that around and you can see the epic battle between the magicians here. The Avatar and the bad guy. So yeah, this is one of the harder games to get on the system. And this is where this one is, again, this one's trying to be more faithful to the PC. And it's the first time we see the now iconic Ultima kind of isometric viewpoint, which to me always kind of looked like the sprites had just kind of like fallen over. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of that style, and it's kind of where my interest in the series kind of waned. Let's see. Next we have possibly the worst RPG on the system. We have Heroes of the Lance. Do not let this amazing artwork fool you. It, like Hydlide, is overcompensating for atrocious gameplay. In fact, this game is so bad that I didn't even want to pay for like a nicer copy. So I have like the most hilariously beat up box because I literally got it for free. And I was just like, yeah, that's good enough. I will give it a home. And that's something I was talking about with these protective cases earlier, is they kind of give even the worst copies like a nice sheen. Like, this honestly looks really nice on the shelf because it's in a protective case and it's a beat up piece of crap. So yeah, if you get some boxed NES games, I would suggest getting these cases. Oh, and finally we can see a game without glare. This is my one game I have that's like not in a case. It's Pool Radiance. I don't really have much to say about Pool Radiance, but it's another Advanced Dungeons & Dragons gold box port to NES. Okay, so this is sad. Even like with this mountain of gaming goodness, I got down to the bottom and I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing 2 games. So the first one is Might and Magic, Secret of the Inner Sanctum. So let me see if I can get... Okay, so you can see there's adventures like going up a staircase. And they're like, there's a dragon. Again, this is a really, really cool piece of artwork for a game that I don't really have much interest in playing because it is another dungeon crawler. Again, this is, whoops, one of the pricier games on the system. If you're going just for a completionist, this one's going to cost you some money. I got really lucky. Somebody sent me the box for this, which was really, really sweet. Okay, next up we have Star Tropics. That weirdo made for American audience Zelda game. It's really freaking hard. And you're basically this kid trying to save his uncle, Mike Jones, from aliens. So, I don't know, this is so good though. And then, of course, you can't have Star Tropics without the sequel. Zoda's Revenge. Zoda holding a book, being menacing and scary. And this is actually my second... I have 2 copies of this. This one's, like, freaking pristine. I got into a blind trade agreement with John Riggs. You probably know his channel. And I sent him... I think I sent him Power Rangers for Genesis in like a kind of a shiny metallic box. And he was like so blown away by it that he sent me this as a thank you. So that was a really cool trade, and we both got things that we're really excited about. So very happy with it. And thank you, John. This is amazing. Let's see what else we got. Oh, you know what? Let's first go over. So these are my American, licensed, complete in box RPGs. It's not a full collection of every RPG on the system. I don't own Hillsfar, which is another one of the Dungeons & Dragons games. And I'm also missing boxes for Times of Lore, which is a weird port of a PC RPG. But still, I'd like to have this box someday. It's just a little expensive. And then not so expensive, I also have Deadly Towers. It's just kind of crappy, and when something's crappy, I don't get real excited about purchasing it. So if I could get those games complete, that would be pretty much everything you could have for it. I also have a couple of... This is a reproduction, obviously, Earthbound Beginnings. I don't normally go for reproduction cards, but this was a really nice edition. Who put this together? VGDB. I don't know who VGDB is, but VGDB did this amazing version. And, they changed the sprites, which I'm okay with. I know a lot of people were kind of angry. They look more like Pokemon sprites. The old characters looked like fat-headed, I don't know, the Peanuts gang or something. So I'm okay with the sprite changes. This also has, I think, some quality of life hacks. Like, I don't think there's quite as many random battles in it. But, I don't know. I thought it was a cool thing to just kind of add to the collection, so I picked that up. And then I have a couple of homebrew games. And this is definitely not an extensive list. There are a few more homebrew RPGs I could buy. Like, Black Box Challenge, I don't own yet. But this is Quest Forge, which I think has some really nice artwork. I picked this up, I ordered it from Pico Interactive. He might still have copies of it. I think he was getting kind of low on stock when I ordered this one, so I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I will probably at some point do like a video of homebrew titles. Because I'd like to cover that. Next up I have Legends of Aulia. This is like an NES. This is like a Zelda clone about a girl who can talk to owls, and she goes off on a quest to save the world and restore the Owl Kingdom or something like that. I don't remember the story, but it was a really ambitious, homebrew project made by a gentleman, and I believe his wife did the artwork. So I was really impressed with this, and it's very, very well done. And the style kind of gives me kind of Crystalis vibes. So if you're a Crystalis fan, I would look into maybe picking up Aulia from Gradual Games. Last but not least, I have Swords and Runes. Again, I did a video on the demo of this a long time ago. If you want to check out how the game is played, it's got a very unique battle system that uses the D-pad. Graphics aren't much to look at. That's not saying they're bad. It is literally a minimalist RPG where everything is kind of represented by icons rather than, depicted characters. And it works. It's very well written. It's again an impressively ambitious project, and I'm happy to own it. So there we go. This mountain here, get the camera. This mountain of goodies are all my boxed NES games. There's some gems. There's some turds. There's a whole lot of good gaming in there. But I'm gonna call that a afternoon. Thank you for sitting with me and going through these games. I've got a lot of organization to do now. That's gonna be fun. Maybe Kitty will help me if you never wake up. But anyway, I just, I just wanted to get out kind of a quick, lazy video. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be away from my computer for 2 weeks, and I didn't want to, completely abandon the channel. It's, December 22nd, I think. So, we're a couple days before Christmas. And I'm not sure exactly when this video will get out. I still have to edit it. So probably early January. But yeah, it's fun to do these every once in a while. And I know you guys, some of you enjoy just listening to me ramble soothingly with my voice. But I appreciate you coming to hang out. So hope everyone has a good day, and see you later.